Intermittent fasting, it's gaining the popularity, and it's so many people that try but fail to achieve what they were expecting from the intermittent fasting. So if you have watched the masterclass about the science of the weight loss, you know what it needs and how long it takes to actually lose the weight. And if you want to increase your success with intermittent fasting, you need to do it correctly. So in this workshop, I'm going to share with you what is intermittent fasting, what are the health benefits of intermittent fasting, and whether it includes the weight loss or not, which 5 factors you need to take into consideration before you start doing the intermittent fasting correctly. And obviously, when you are fasting, the hunger comes. So I will share with you a tip of how you can ride easily on the hunger wave. And then I will share with you the common mistakes that many of my clients do, and I want you to avoid it. And I will also dig deeper into the practical meal plans from my mobile phone. So what I basically do. Are you ready? I am. So let's start. So intermittent fasting, what it actually means that you are restricting the eating window. So you are eating, for example, during the day, you start at the lunchtime and you eat maybe only for 4 hours. So it doesn't mean that you are eating the full 4 hours, but maybe you will have only 1 meal or 2 meals. Maybe if you are a beginner, you are having your restricted eating window 8 hours, and that is perfectly fine. And in these 8 hours, you might have 3 meals. So if you are eating in this window for 8 hours, then you have 16 hours of fasting, which is already a good number. So why we do it is because when you are not eating, this allows your body to use the stored energy. And imagine it like this. You can look at the picture that there is a bloodstream. You can see the red blood cells and you can see insulin. That's the blue particle. So every time when you are eating, and no matter what you eat, it's going to increase the levels of macronutrients in your blood. So it's like a food on the table. It's fat, protein, fiber, and carbohydrates. Yeah? And every time when it increases this amount in the bloodstream, the body says, okay, we don't really need it in the bloodstream. We need to either utilize it as a source of energy, or we need to store it. So if you were overeating more than your body needs, it's going to store it in the liver, in the muscle. And if these storages are full, that's like a fridge, then it's going to store it in the freezer, which is fat. So maybe you have a belly fat, love handles, maybe you have fat or larger amount of fat on your bum, on your thighs. So this was caused by eating or giving your body more energy than it actually needed. So in intermittent fasting, we are first, in the first hours, in the first stage, you can see after 4 hours, we start to store the food in the fridge, right? So that's how long it takes from the stomach to get into the intestine and to penetrate and get into the bloodstream. 4 hours. So if you had your breakfast at 8 and at 10 o'clock, you go to have a snack, and at 12 you have lunch, and at 2 you have another snack, and then you have dinner, you actually never even allowed the process to get all the nutrients into the fridge or utilize it. If you get to the stage 2, when you are fasting for 4 to 12 hours, there is a chance that the food is not anymore in the bloodstream. And in case you are working out, you are exercising, then the body says, okay, let's move a little bit more of the nutrients and the fuel into the blood. So let's open the fridge and take some food from the fridge. Therefore, from the liver, from the muscle, and only when you get to the third stage, that you are not eating anything at all for 12 to 16 hours, and you empty the fridge, so the glycogen and the muscle, you will tap into the fat storage. Yeah? So that's why when you do intermittent fasting, you really have to make sure that you don't eat anything at all. And on other slides, we are going to talk about what breaks the intermittent fasting. So you can see the stage 4, which is the advanced version, is when you have the fasting benefits. When the bloodstream, the table is empty from the food, the fridge is empty, and the body is taking from the freezer. Yeah? So 16 to 24 hours. So what are the benefits of the intermittent fasting? So first of all, imagine it like a production. Your body is like a production line, like a fabric. And when you are producing products all the time, there is no time to make a big cleaning. So only when you close the fabric and you are not working on the production line, then this special unit of cleaners can come and they say, okay, now let's clean the environment really properly and let's check maybe the machines, whether they are working in a correct way and whether we need to repair some of them. So if you fast for 16 to 24 hours, the hormone, human growth hormone, gets released. And what is this? Human growth hormone. Grows. It grows. So this one is released in a young age, right? So children, adolescents. And let's say that from the age of 25, this human growth hormone is decreasing. The only time when it's released for you in this age, like if you're 35 plus, most probably, is during the stage 3 and 4, which is a deep sleep. And this is why sleep is so important. And I have a special 45-minute masterclass on how to sleep properly, how to improve the sleep, and how to circulate in all these 4 stages with ease. What it also makes that when you are fasting for a long time, it releases brain derivative neurotropic hormone. So it tells you in the brain. And this hormone is responsible for neurons. Yeah? So you know that the neurons are firing everywhere in the body. They are sending the signals that are responsible for your mood, for your motivation, for your concentration on a presentation like this, for serotonin, for dopamine, all these neurotransmitters. So when your body gets a break, it basically helps to repair the neurons and optimize everything. So it prevents the neurodegenerative disease. What it also makes when you are fasting for a longer period, the cells don't have to work so hard. So then when you eat, they are more prone to the cell signaling because they went on holidays, they got a break, they are refreshed, and they work more efficiently. So cell signaling is improved. And why do we need cell signaling? Because every hormone connects to the receptor, right? So the cell has this like signals and says, yes, connect, takes the hormone inside, and then you can optimize your body. Well, what's the biggest benefit on intermittent fasting? And that's why it's recommending during cancer or any degenerative disease is the autophagy. And what that means, phagy in Greek means eating, and auto is self-eating. So when your body doesn't get enough food, it's not going to break down your muscle because the body is very clever. These special white blood cells come and they will make audit in your body. They will check all the cells. So on this picture, you can see a cell that is slightly damaged. Yeah, you can see the bump. And the cells are replicating. So when the cell is going to replicate next time, it will replicate with the bump, with the damaged DNA, which after 4 replications can cause cancer. So during the autophagy, this audit, the white blood cells, they check every cell in the body. And when they see that the cell is not in optimal shape, it's going to damage it, it's going to break it down and utilize the protein and all the building blocks like the Lego to repair the good cells or to build muscle or to refresh, regenerate, repair everything that needs to be repaired. So isn't the body smart in doing this? So longer you fast, more time these white blood cells have to double check and make the audit of your fabric. At the same time, when you are fasting, you are going to lower the insulin levels. And you maybe remember that insulin is an anabolic hormone. Insulin is a fat maker, because the job of insulin is to take all the energy that you have been eating and either utilize it when you are exercising or store it. Store it either in the liver. When this fridge is full, everything goes to the freezer. So intermittent fasting might help you to lose weight if during the feeding window, you are still, for example, decreasing the calories, yeah, so that you allow to tap into the freezer, into the storage of the fat. The benefit is also it reduces the insulin resistance. And what is insulin resistance? Is when the cells are resisting the insulin. They say, no, we are not going to make energy in the cell. You, insulin, keep whatever is in the blood and maybe offer it to the fat cells, because fat cells, they can expand and they always accept everything. Yeah. So insulin resistance is not what you want. Insulin resistance is when you have a belly fat, love handles, basically your middle part, your waistline is not visible. It disappears. It means you have, there is a chance that you have insulin resistance. Of course, this we would check from the blood test results. We would look at the insulin levels, glucose levels, fasting glucose, and HOMA, which is a special test that shows you where you stand. Intermittent fasting also helps the gene expression. And what that means, sirtuins. Maybe you know the singer Adele, and she lost enormous amount of weight because she was on sirtuin diet. So what was she basically doing? She was doing intermittent fasting, and then she was eating food that is helping. It's like a building blocks for these sirtuins. And sirtuins are special proteins that are basically guarding your DNA and doesn't allow the disease to show. So you are carrying in your DNA some disease that your parents and your grandparents had. So if, for example, my grandma, she had a diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis. My mom at the age of 55 also got the rheumatoid arthritis, and diabetes is most probably going to catch her if she eats the way she eats. And the same is waiting for me. So by doing intermittent fasting and eating the food that is high in sirtuins, I have a chance to postpone this disease. So I will not get rheumatoid arthritis at the age of 55, but I might get it at the age of 80. And so goes for you with your genes that you are carrying. It also, intermittent fasting helps you to increase the metabolic rate. And what that is, maybe on the internet you read about like which metabolic type you are and what is metabolism. So metabolism is how you are utilizing the energy and how much you are burning. Because when you eat the calories, like 1,500 calories, if your body is not going to burn it and utilize it, you will save it as a fat. So during the intermittent fasting, you get your body onto a slight stress. And so the body becomes more efficient at burning the calories. So this increases the metabolic rate. Yeah. And of course, it helps to reduce the oxidative stress and inflammation. So glucose, the sugar in the bloodstream, is a culprit of every degenerative disease because it's causing inflammation. So if you are fasting, if you don't eat, obviously the sugar is not in the bloodstream and it cannot increase the inflammation. Opposite happens. It is going to decrease the inflammation because there are not any free radicals that would be damaging the cells. And of course, because you don't eat, you are going to lower your cholesterol. This is going to lower the blood pressure, prevent the neurodegenerative disease, and prevent the cancer. How? How is it going to prevent the cancer? Because the research shows, and already Otto Warburg in 1962 got a Nobel Prize because he showed that cancerous cells are feeding on sugar. If you are on an intermittent fasting and you are not eating, you are decreasing the sugar levels, therefore you are not feeding the cancerous cells, and the autophagy is going to find out which cell is carrying it, like the wrong replication, and it's going to kill it in apoptosis. Kill the cell. So cancer prevention. So now you must be completely sold on intermittent fasting. But how do you do it correctly? And that's what I will share with you in the following video.